Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another weekend workshop. I am so thrilled that you are here with us today. My name is Carrie Ramsey, and I'm the project manager for the Weekend Project, which is led and funded by Queen's University. And for those of you who don't know, Queen's is situated in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. And we are so thrilled that you have joined us today for another workshop led by one of our fabulous weekend clients. If you haven't met her before, Jenny Chandler is here today from Brazen, as well as Simple Desk, as some of you may know her. And today she's going to be speaking to us about the power of creating strategic partnerships. So this is something that I think is of interest and vital importance to all of us as business owners. And so thanks so much for spending some time with us today. The recording will be made available later today on our YouTube channel. So if you don't know where that YouTube channel is, I'll make sure to drop a link to it in the Zoom chat today. And so why don't we kick off today by introducing ourselves in the Zoom chat. I would love for you to take a moment to kind of provide some visibility to your business. This is a great chance for you to also get to know some other business owners in the chat. So while you are doing that, you might want to let us know geographically where you are, if you have a business link to a website or Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Let us know a little bit more about yourselves in the Zoom chat. While you're doing that, I'll take a moment to acknowledge that Queen's University is situated on the traditional territory of the Huron, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. And I was looking at the month of January and realizing that there is a pretty significant day that some of us may have missed earlier this month, which was National Ribbon Skirt Day. And I don't know if anyone knows what that is about. I remember this hitting the news a few years ago. It's held actually every January 4th. And so this day originates with the story of Isabella Kulak, who is a member of the Cote First Nation. And she was shamed at school for wearing a ribbon skirt to her formal day, or it was in an elementary school. So, I mean, what an experience for a young woman to go through, first of all. But this skirt is traditionally worn by First Nations and Métis peoples. And ribbon skirts are a meaningful symbol of identity, resilience, and survival for Indigenous women, girls, and gender diverse peoples. And they represent this direct connection to Mother Earth. So Isabella's story shines a light on the enduring injustices, racism, and discrimination that continue to be faced by Inuit, First Nations, and Métis people in Canada. And so I think it's helpful for us to, just find out a little bit about these days of significance. And this one I thought really hit home for me because it was specifically about girls, women, and gender diverse folks. So thank you so much for those of you who are taking a moment to introduce yourselves in the Zoom chat. We are certainly thrilled that you are all here. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so I know that you have a lot of ground to cover today, Jenny. Let's dive into it. I'm going to hand you the virtual microphone. Welcome back, and it's great to have you.
Thanks, Carrie. So today we're going to be a little interactive. So like Carrie said, I hope you have your pen and paper ready or your Remarkable, whatever you use. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce myself. So I'm Jenny Chandler, and I am the founder of Brazen Business Collective. Brazen actually started out, well, it was Carrie and I on a phone call. And I was like, Carrie, I need a word that's like politically correct for me. And we came up with Brazen, and I had my first event May 4th, 2023, I think that was, Brazen for Women Who Dare. And it was kind of like, we're coming out of the pandemic. I need some social engagement because I've been locked up, and I'm going to have a party, and I don't care who shows up. And so everybody showed up, and we had a wait list. So our third event is this year in May, and it will be in Brighton. So that's where we started. And then I noticed that there was such a need for women to connect and be like in a space where they can be vulnerable and talk about things and not be judged for it. So I turned it into a membership. So we have a community. We have a local chapter where we have monthly events as well. And then we have an online version where we have the specialists come in and teach us all sorts of things that I don't know about. Like yesterday, we learned about ADHD and how to deal with, sorry, not how to deal with it, how to use it as a power instead of a hindrance. So like that was awesome. That was a partnership that I set up. I also own Simple Desk, like Carrie said. I forgot to change the thing on my Zoom. And from Brazen, I started a not-for-profit called Uplift Her that serves women who fall through the cracks. They won't get the subsidies and stuff from the government because they have a job or own a business, but they don't make enough money to provide things for themselves, like legal aid, like to fight for custody or to go through a divorce or to have a therapist, because we always put money towards other things and we come last, right? And I just feel like that women who thrive raise children who thrive, and that in turn creates an amazing community. So that's all about Brazen. And so yeah, Brazen itself was built on collaborations with local businesses, me like hosting events in their spaces and being a guest on podcasts. That's where we started. Okay, so today we're going to learn lots of fun things. I'm just moving you around. So why partnerships matter. We're going to explore different partnership ideas. We're going to be identifying the right partners. We'll craft a little pitch, and I know Ashley's in here, so she may be able to put a little word in there on that. And setting clear expectations, because we don't want to fall short on our end, and we want to know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, so there's no conflict with the partnership, because we always want it to go smoothly. Okay, so woohoo, let's get started with the big question. Why is it important? So it can expand your audience and your customer base. So for me with the ADHD, I'm not fluent in that. I can't teach somebody how to do that. So that's not within my realm, but I know that the women in Brazen needed that. So I went out and I said, okay, this is what I can offer you. Will you do this for me? I mean, it's not, I make it sound really simple, but not all that cut and dry. But yeah, so if you it builds credibility, because you know that person that you're following on Instagram and you're like, oh my goodness, they're killing it. They're so amazing. So when they partner with you, they kind of lend you their credibility, and they also lend you their audience. So if they have a big audience, you're going to get in front of more people. And like spark creativity. So this is it for me, because when you connect with those other, not necessarily women, but those other business people, they may spark something in you, and you could come up with these crazy ideas that are just so amazing that you never would have thought of on your own. It's kind of like taking that creative break, right? When you're in a room with somebody who's excited about stuff and has all kinds of other ideas, it just sparks that creativity in you. Okay, so I have a few notes here, but I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so now let's questions to ask yourself when you're looking to set up a partnership. So where could a partnership help me right now? So is there a spot in your business that you need to fill? Do you need more awareness? Do you need more followers? Do you need more sales? Well, everybody needs more sales. Do you need to get some sort of like a service for your business that you couldn't or don't want to pay for at that point, because you don't have the budget for it, but you really need it to move your business forward. So that spot in your business, maybe write that down, like where do you need to move forward? And then what are your strengths? What do you have to offer? Do you have like a large following? Do you have I don't know, a crazy email list? Like, what is it that you have that you can offer? So for us at Brazen, I have a very engaged email list. Like we have like 80% open rate. it's insane. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. But so for us, that's like a huge selling point. We can promote you in our email, and 80% of our list is going to open it. So they're going to see you. And also for the event, like if you want to be a speaker, so getting in front of 150 businesswomen on one day, like, and you have their full attention, that's a big selling point. And also, like, what are things that you love to do? What are you best at that you can offer to other people? So for me, like, I'm a really good networker. So if that's like my zone of genius. So if I'm promoting you, right, when I'm out at events and I'm talking about you and your business, oh, we did this partnership with so and so, that like that really promotes you, and that's easy for me to do. So think about like what you love to do and what you can offer. And so what is the goal? So again, like what could you use? So if you're looking for more followers, you're going to say, okay, so my goal is to gain 50 followers from this partnership. And so we'll set it out later. I have a little like template you can use that has your goal, and you can track along with KPIs and such. Key performance indicators. Nobody knows what that is. I say words and then I think, oh, does anybody know what that means? So just, sorry, one second. Okay, so we're going to keep those in mind as we go along. So we're going to kind of put everything together during the event, and the end will be like all ready to go for partnerships. So has anyone had a partnership before that they want to talk about? One, I can do one person. Carrie, can you choose?
Yeah, if someone wants to put their hand up with the reaction button, I'll just pick the first person whose hand I see in the reaction button. A partnership that maybe worked well for you. Is that what you're saying, Jenny?
Yeah. Or it could have not gone well, and
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
like, what did you learn from that?
Okay, so if someone wants to put their hand up, I'm watching the reaction button. I will go to, yeah. I know there's lots of partnerships on there, so we're just getting warmed up. Someone needs to take a sip of their espresso. Lisa,
There
go
we go.
ahead.
Yeah, hi. I haven't done it in the past, but I've always thought about it. But just yesterday, I had a Zoom call with the Secret Garden, the bed and breakfast. Sorry, I do sourdough classes in Kingston. So I get a lot of out of towners from Ottawa, Toronto, as far away as Haliburton. They come in the morning and they drive home at night. So I wanted to build a partnership where there was a motel or hotel that I could send my students to and have a wonderful time. And so I'm just working on that. So I'm really excited to learn all about that. So yeah.
So do you do them in your home?
No, I do them at the Portsmouth Olympic Harbor Kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a
So
thought, maybe like you could do them in the kitchen at that space.
well, we were discussing that, but all of my stock and my supplies are at
Yeah,
a certain kitchen, and to lug it just would not be worth
that's
it for
not
me
worth
at
it.
all.
There
So
you go.
yeah, but we
So,
did talk about that.
yes, amazing. Okay, good stuff. I love sourdough. I shouldn't eat it, but I love it.
Have
Okay,
to
so
come and learn how to do it,
I
unless you
will.
do it already.
I don't do it. Um, okay, so does everybody have those answers in mind? Yeah, okay, we'll move on. Okay, so exploring partnerships. So I don't know if anybody has heard of Monday Girl. So they are a company out of Toronto, and they are the boys club for women is what they call, and it's mostly executive women. There are some small business owners and so they partnered with Bloom. I'm sure everybody's heard of Bloom. They have like the best organic latte mix. So yeah, they partnered with them and they created their Monday Girl matcha. So they sell it and they can tag Bloom in all their posts. And Bloom has a huge following. And their demographic is women. And that is Monday Girls demographic, obviously. So it is an amazing partnership and one that I wish I would have thought of, but so this is a local company. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Designs by Alexis Rose, but she's like one of my favorite people. She does all the flowers for Brazen. So I have a collaboration partnership with her, where she donates her time. And so she gets seen at all of our Brazen events because she is our main florist. So she's been doing some awesome stuff lately, and I was like, oh my goodness, props to you, Alexis. I love this. So she partnered with the Grind and Vine, which is a local coffee shop, and they did like a little floral and coffee takeaway. So again, she's taking their audience in our local area, and she's getting eyes on her. She also does like floral events that she teaches at the Grind and Vine. And then we have another bakery downtown, Ma's Pantry, where she did it like a little cake in a jar. And then this one has little chocolate covered strawberries in it. And then I just saw this one last night, so I had to add it. And I was like, oh my goodness, cotton candy. So she's killing it. So we'll go on to the next one. I just threw together some ideas. So I do have a full list of the ideas and a template, and there's a QR code at the end that you can just scan and download it. So yeah, these are a few I just grabbed. So cross promotion of products, just like I was saying, in email marketing campaigns, and affiliate marketing. So if you have some sort of commission that you can provide to people for selling your product or just selling your business, that's an amazing way to go, because then you just get people on board, right? Joint social media campaigns. Again, you're tagging them and you're collaborating and you're in front of their entire following. Influencers. Now, I have only ever worked with one influencer, so I can't speak a lot to this, but I know a lot of people do it, and I just have to say, like, do your homework. So I have, she's actually in Coburg, and I knew her. I just met her at an event, and she does a lot of stuff. So I said, hey, I have a ticket to Brazen. You want to come? And so she came, and in return, she took her video and she posted like reels and photos and stuff like that. And so I got in front of all of her viewers, and it was only the cost of a ticket. So like, I feel like partnerships and collaborations are the fastest, cheapest way to market your business. You put all that work into the social media and paying for ads and paying for all that other stuff, whereas you could just have a collaboration that's free on each side, and you're just boosting your marketing that way. So co-branded content, blog posts. Event sponsorship is a big one for us. So basically all of Brazen is run on the sponsorship money. Yeah, so it's you got to get out there and you got to get those sponsors and you got to know people to get those sponsors, right? Podcast interviews is a huge thing, especially for us. So when I first started out, I was asked to be a guest on the Babes of Quinte. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, some of my favorite people, but yeah, so I had a 45-minute podcast. I just went in and chatted with them, and I got to speak about Brazen. It was my first year, and it went like every one of their listeners heard about Brazen, and I didn't have to pay to be on that podcast. I didn't have to, really do anything other than 1 hour of my time, and I got promoted that way. So yeah, and I would say, for the most part, people should have some sort of a pitch deck. Ashley, I'm just gonna shout out to you because she does. So yeah, some sort of a pitch deck that you can send out to podcasts so you can get in front of your audience, the audience that you need to be in front of. So for me, people who cater to female business owners, those are the podcasts I'm going to pitch to, and I'm going to say, have me on your show, and then you just basically put in there like what you offer, what you have to offer, and what kind of things you can talk about so you can get on their podcast. Because people are always looking for guests to fill up their content time. Yeah, collaborative webinars. As people, a lot of people do, what are they called? Like conferences online, and they have all kinds of speakers. So getting on there, like not, you're not just getting their followers, you're getting all the other speakers' followers as well. So if you have, you could use your pitch deck not only for the podcast, but for getting into the online conferences. And yeah, bundles and products. So these are just 10 of them. I think I had like 35 on the list if you scan that.
And I just want to remind folks that Jenny did say at the end there will be a QR code. So I know there's a lot there. I suggested in the Zoom chat, just take a picture of some of these slides with your phone if there's a lot. But Jenny will be downloading that or giving you a QR code so you can get all 35 at the end. So stay tuned.
Yes. And if you have any questions, I will answer them all at the end because I don't want to miss anything. My brain doesn't work like that. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about identifying the right partners and how do you find your dream clients. Oh shoot, sorry, let me go back. So I find people I follow on Instagram. I'm always on the Instagram lately. LinkedIn too, I think is great. And I'm part of a lot of groups. So like I'm part of Grow Your Biz. So we have a lot of women in that group. And so I'll just follow people, or if I go to events and someone speaks, I am like, oh, wow, they're great. I need to follow them. And it usually leads to like other people. So for me, I went to, I'm not sure if you guys have heard it. It's called She Owns It. So it's a yearly thing out of Coburg. This was the second year. So the first year, Jennifer Harper spoke. And I was literally brought to tears. Like she is an amazing woman. And so I was like, I have to have her. She has to come to Brazen. But the small me was thinking, there's no way I'm going to get Jen Harper. So what I did was, this is part of your pitch, but what I did was I reached out to her personal, it's not her personal, it's her personal brand. And I told her, I said, oh my goodness, I saw you speak. You brought me to tears. You are so amazing. I know that we're a smaller event, but I would absolutely love to have you. Is there any way that's possible? And I thought, she's never going to respond to me, but she did. And this year she's speaking at my event in Brighton. So I'm beyond excited for this. She's like my hero, but it's kind of like making your own opportunities, right? Don't ever think that someone is unapproachable or too far out of your range. You just go for it because, you know, they're human just like you. And, you know, they might connect with what you're doing. So always go for it. Also, our other speaker is what's her name? Tina from XXL Scrunchy. So she's very expensive because she's a big influencer, right? And she also has a large business. She has a huge YouTube following. But because she's from the local area, I really wanted to have her as part of it. So I know that she doesn't take a lot of speaking opportunities. So I know that she is really good friends with the Babes of Quinte. So I reached out to Katie and I said, Katie, is there any way that you can get me a connection with Tina? So she sent that email introducing the two of us. And I actually spoke with Tina and she was like, had you not done that, I never would have responded to you. So it's all about connections. Who do you know? And can they introduce you to the person that you're looking to speak with? Okay, so I have to go back. Sorry, I feel like I'm missing a slide here. Okay, so identifying the right partners. So who is your target audience? Maybe write that down. Do you know exactly who they are? Where are they spending their time? So I don't know, female business owners, they're spending their time at networking events, or, they're spending their time on Instagram, probably following all the influencers. um, um, yeah. So what brands or influencers are already engaging those people? And so those are kind of what you want to look for when you're looking for someone to partner with. I have like a whole bunch of questions here. So yeah. So for example, like a health coach and a local gym. So you reach out to your local gym. Can I offer your members this discounted discount for my program? Or can I rent a spot inside your gym so that you're visible to everybody coming through the front door? Yeah, that's so that one. I don't have a do you serve? Yeah. Okay, so do you serve similar or overlapping customer bases? That's kind of the same thing. Okay, so I want you guys to write down 3 to 5 business brands that you'd love to partner with. No one is too big. Yeah, so think about people you've met at local events, like networking events, brands you admire, people you follow online. So I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to jot down 3 to 5, and then if someone wants to tell us who they are. So yeah, 2 minutes, and then we'll take someone. Should have brought music. Do you want me to just dance?
Would you please sing?
I don't think you want me to.
Come quietly. I wrote down Jen Harper, by the way, Jenny.
Did you?
As I also, and for those who don't know, Jen Harper owns the 100% Indigenous owned company, Cheekbone Beauty. I think is she in Ontario? I thought she was out west.
No, she's in Cambridge.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I was surprised. I thought she was in Toronto, though.
Yeah.
I mean, close enough, right?
A lot of people are leaving Toronto now, moving into, some areas that local businesses like yours and ours can benefit from. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Thanks, Crystal. Yeah, that's really cool.
What was that?
Oh, she's saying she was in Niagara by the Lake for a long time as well. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, sometimes I say it and they don't know who she is, and I'm like offended.
Well, you know what? Well, I'll let you go on now, but I'll drop a link to her website for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a little thing. So Tina actually wrote to me and she contacted Jen herself. And so Cheekbone Beauty and XXL Scrunchy are going to be doing a collaboration, and they're just including Brazen because they'll both be at the event. And I was like, thanks, Tina. I didn't even have to do that myself. I'm like, that's so amazing. Like, so 2 amazing women collaborating together. It just makes my heart sing. So does anybody want to let us know who their 3 to 5 is? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am the founder of Orange Blossom Communications. And what I get to do is work with diverse, independent designers to build strong, multifaceted communities with powerful storytelling. And my 3 to 5 organizations would be the Toronto Fashion Law African Association, Fashion Art Toronto, the Toronto Fashion Incubator, Startup Fashion Week, and Black Designers of Canada. And it's important because I find that when we don't know the why behind our business and when we don't know who we serve, it is very difficult to create your marketing from there. So my offer would be, if I were to work with these organizations, to just offer a solution to busy designers, especially when they're on deadline. They have to launch a collection, they have to put together an outfit for the red carpet, and it's just an easier way to keep connected with the people that they want to stay connected with, while they're focusing on the work that they're meant to do.
Oh, good.
Awesome. I think we have time for one more. I'm kind of like buzzing through this.
Anybody else want to share that? That was awesome, Stephanie. I love, she's just like, she knows her brand, she knows her values, she knows her audience, and we have to know those things, right?
Yeah,
Love
for
it.
sure. Thank you.
Anyone else want to venture? And hey, it's okay to speak our dreams out loud. Laura,
Hey, sure I can, yeah. Because this is something that I've been like finally starting to work on. I talk about it all the time. Anyways, I'm the founder of a digital knowledge sharing platform for small scale farmers with kind of like more of a global perspective. And so but we're looking at the Canadian market now. And so the farmers, the organizations I would like to partner with. One is a big one in Canada called Farmers Edge. Viamo is a digital, international digital communications company. Plant Village is somebody else, and EFAO, which is the Ecological Farmers Association of Ontario, and another company in Africa called Digital Green. We're looking for collaborations of folks who are kind of doing what we've done and have had some success already, and people who would probably be our competition, but I'm starting to feel like that the competition, rather than thinking of them as competition, is thinking about them as kind of almost like accelerators for what we want to do.
love it. Collaboration over competition. Love it. Thanks for sharing, Laura. Jenny, do we have time for Ashley? And then we'll move on.
Yep, go
ahead,
ahead, Ash.
Hi. Okay, so I didn't write down 3 to 5 because I've entered into a new partnership that I'm super excited about and can't get off my mind. So I have recently partnered with Brian Lavender, which is huge. And we're both storytellers, but we found that we offer such different things. He is the best storyteller that there is when it comes to film. And I offer storytelling. We both offer storytelling by word, by written word. But a big thing that I do that he doesn't is the media pitching. And I also create like books or cookbooks, things like that. So we've started collaborating, and it's really interesting, and it's kind of like sorry, I forget, Stephanie, I think was the last speaker, was talking about
Oh, did we freeze? Ashley froze?
oh,
Oh, there she is. She's
You're
back. She's back.
hi, am I back?
Yeah,
Yes.
keep going.
Sorry. Yeah, it keeps glitching on me, so sorry. I don't know if you guys heard like any of that, but anyway, so that is
Last 2 seconds. So that's one partnership that you're already in.
Yeah, we're just starting to enter into that. And that's going to be huge. And that's been something that has been a year in my mind that I've been brewing. And then my like big probably would never happen one would be Shonda Rhimes, obviously. Writer, like just I feel like I can relate so much in terms on like a writer basis, and I'm just like would love nothing more than to sit down and write with her.
Love it. Thank you for those that shared. Jenny, back to you.
Awesome. Okay, let me. Okay, so we'll go right into crafting the right pitch. So I touched on this before about having a connection. So having a connection is always most beneficial. And do you have the proper contact information? Because if you're just going to go onto Instagram and send it randomly to the business account, like, is that the best way to do it? Can you do some digging and find like their personal email, not personal email, but their direct email, so that it actually is getting seen by the right people? Because sometimes, with Instagram, we all know they have social media managers, so they might not even see that message. So yeah, your connection, and have you researched their brand? So what is it about them that you can reference in the email or the message that you're sending? So again, like with Jen, I was like, oh my goodness, that speech was so amazing, da 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 da. And I talked about everything that she said, because people like to feel heard. And if you talk about things that they're saying, like that is going to connect with them more. So you want to introduce yourself, like who you are, what you have to offer, why them again, and then the idea that you have. You could give some sort of an idea and just say, but I am open to anything that you could come up with. So yeah. Let me see. I have an example here. Okay, so for example, hi, I'm Jenny Chandler, founder of Brazen, a community for women entrepreneurs. I've been following your podcast and I love how you highlight inspiring women in business. I think our missions align, and I'd love to be a guest on your show to talk about whichever topic it is, empowering women, probably for me. Would you be open to chatting further? So yes, that was my pitch. So I would say I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes, and you can go over or write down your pitch if you have like 3 to 5 minutes for you guys to write down your pitch. If you have any questions while you're writing it, maybe just throw up your hand. Yeah, Christina, I would love to speak to you after. Okay, so setting clear expectations. Okay, so after they've said yes, then you want to make sure that you're both getting something out of this and you're working towards a specific goal. So you don't want people going off script, if you will. Okay, so think of the partners on your list and what roles and responsibilities do you want to establish. So if you want to go ahead and write those down, and then we're going to walk through I just threw this in here. It's part of the template on the QR code, but I just threw this in here so we can walk through. So if you want to, we'll go through this and then you guys can write down your roles and responsibilities. So basically it's a little contract. So we generally use this for our speakers. They're going to show up on this date. They get like a prepayment on this date. They're paid the full amount on the day they show up, kind of thing like that. So everybody knows what they're getting. There's usually a bit in there about what they're going to speak about and that they have to stay in line with the Brazen values. So yeah, just contact information for the parties involved. The clearly state the purpose of the partnership. So like, yeah, your goal is to reach 500 webinar attendees. Or it could be like, again, to get 50 followers, or some kind of crazy engagement on a video or something like that. It could be a lot of things, or signups for a membership, something like that. So then you go through and the responsibilities for each partner. So what are you going to do? What are they going to do? And I would like, again, go with your strengths. So what are you best at? That's what you're going to do. And what are they best at? They're going to do that. And then there will be some that are joint. So both of you are going to promote this on your social media or whatever it is. And then the resources. So if there needs to be graphics made for social media, if there needs to be a sales page that's done, or you're providing the product for something. So that's laid out, like what is everybody giving to this partnership? Or if you're doing ads, like are you paying $250 and they're paying $250 to promote this? Just be specific on exactly what it is that each of you is giving. And then your matrix. So you want to follow the campaign or the partnership. However, some of these won't pertain to everything because partnerships are so vast and different. So just you would pick and choose what you need. So this keeps popping up. So how are you going to measure the success of the partnership? I.e., they're like the number of attendees or the number of followers. And then when are you starting? When is it ending? Like, please don't use my logo after after this is over. And then like a milestone, kind of like, okay, after a month, I would have hoped to have this, or after a week, this is what we want. And then we'll check in again in a month and from there on. And like the different steps that you're going to be launching. So a communication plan. So this is key because sometimes, you know, life and business get away from us. We want to set, okay, I'm going to contact you and check in at this time and like again at this time. So, and the primary contact, not just like a business contact, it needs to be with the contact that you are collaborating with. And then terms and conditions. So yes, some of it has to be confidential. It really depends on the business and the partnership. And if there is a dispute, you need to have like a way of how you're going to solve that dispute. And a termination clause, this is when or how I'm going to terminate this if this isn't working. So yeah, 2 minutes and maybe write down your responsibilities that, or like what you're going to be giving and what you would want to get back.
All right, I'll pause the recording now.
Okay. Okay, does anybody want to share what they wrote down for the expectations in their partnership? We have one, I guess. No, it's okay. All right, so just closing and next steps. Like this is literally how I built Brazen, was all through connections, collaborations, and partnerships. And I hate to mention Ashley again, but Ashley, I just reached out to her recently because she did something for the Brazen community called Practice Your Pitch. And everybody came in, learned a little, and then they got to actually say their pitch, and Ashley gave them feedback. And I got such great feedback from the community that I was like, maybe we need to do this every month. So I was like, hey, Ashley, would you be open to? But Ashley and I have, you know, we've known each other already before I asked. So it was a little more of just a generic, like easy email because we have a personal relationship. But starting out, obviously you would do something a little more formal. But yeah, Ashley and I are working on that together. So it benefits her and it benefits me, and I think it's just great. So the next step is I want everyone to choose one person, write out your email, do your research, get your connections, and ask for a partnership before the end of next week. I'm giving you a timeline, guys. Because if I don't, you won't do it. But yeah, so you've gone through everything and you put it all together and like just send it out. Just send it out. So next one. Okay, so yeah, everybody send it out and let's go make it happen. And this, if you scan the QR code, it will give you the full list of ideas and the contract that I put together there, but in proper format, not just thrown into Canva. Okay, I made it almost an hour. So if anybody has any questions or just wants to like flush something out, needs ideas, like I'm totally open here.
Okay, we've got 2 or 3 that I want to just address right away. So because they're in the Zoom chat, and if I missed anyone's, please either restate them in the Zoom chat or after you can come off. So Laura's asking, I've had a couple of major universities agree to a memorandum of understanding with us, but I haven't proceeded with preparing the MOU because I don't really know what needs to be included or how to go about it. So this is a specific type of document, but Jenny, have you dealt with MOUs before?
No, I have never.
Okay.
I generally deal with businesses, like smaller businesses, not something of that nature.
Laura, I believe you're one of our weekend clients, so that would be something like it's a very specific type of document, especially when you're dealing with the government or a university, for instance. Queen's Business Law Clinic is available to you for free. If you want, I can connect you with them and you can set up an appointment just so you can go
Awesome.
with them. So just send me an email so that I remember about that and I'll connect you. Because yeah, unless someone has had specific experience, it's quite a unique, but Christina has had some experience, it looks like, so we're going to go to her next.
I've just into this, but I have written a memorandum of understanding, and I'm looking at one right now. And like you said, Carrie, when it comes to universities, governmental kind of, departments, it is a legal document. So definitely recommend, if you're able to have legal aid review it before sending it off, it's important. I've broken mine down into number one, what is the purpose? So what is your purpose as an organization and that corporation or university? That will outline the terms and conditions of the partnership. And then the service provisions. So what are you providing or what are they providing you? Maybe there's a schedule that you can add. So start date, end date. What are the responsibilities would probably be a good thing. Confidentiality, as well as evaluation and review. So I think that's a really good thing to have is kind of stepping stones in regards to the evaluation and review. And then terms and termination, pretty much, what Jenny had in her contract, but it's just adapted into this memorandum of understanding. And it's a great document, actually. It's just, I think it just step by step is very clear. I don't know if that helps, but that's what.
Thanks for stepping in there.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, it does. One of the things that I find a little intimidating is that as a social enterprise founder, as it's me and my volunteer team, and they're awesome. And then that's the university, which is huge, and there are so many things that could be possible, and they have, regardless of what university is or international research organization, they just say to me, "Oh, okay, Laura, well, you prepare it."
I think also, sorry, what I
Where do I
find
start?
too in entrepreneurship or even business or even in the sector that I am, we're all organizational leaders in the end. I think that's
yeah.
kind of a thing that we can fairly say is true. And sometimes we feel alone in it and we're tasked
Yeah.
to do all of these tasks that some of it's out of our scope. But I think with webinars like this, as well as legal aid, there's people out there. We just have to learn to ask for help. And I think there's a lot of really great people out there that are able to help.
So many hats, Christina. So many hats. You're right. You're right. I want to go to Stacy next for sake of time. Stacy, go ahead. You have oh, did you have a question about the MOU? Because
not a question. I was just going to offer just to kind of reiterate what Christina said, but also to put a plug in for Queen's Business Law, because I'm using it with a charity that I'm affiliated with. And they're fantastic. So it sometimes takes them a little bit of time, but then they take the load off of you and they do a great intake so they understand exactly what you require, and it might just set you up so that you have the ability to go forward, knowing what it's like to just be dealing with a volunteer team.
Yeah, and saves
Thanks,
thousands
Stacy.
of dollars, let's be honest, because legal fees can be very expensive when you're a solopreneur or and I will say that nonprofits are absolutely eligible as well to be WeCan clients. I'll throw that out there, depending on the organization, I suppose. But we're going to go to the next question. Jenny, can you address the examples of what the goals or objectives are of these partnerships? This is a bit wishy-washy for me. So what would a goal be of a partnership if you were like writing that out in your pitch, I suppose?
Well, it really depends on who was it that was asking.
That was Laura again.
Oh, Laura, and sorry, what was it that you do, Laura?
We're a social enterprise,
Oh, right,
um,
right, sorry.
digital knowledge sharing platform for small scale farmers. And so we partner with people like, the University of Guelph. Our partners, we have knowledge sharing partners so that we can then share their knowledge with the farmers.
Okay, so it really comes down to what you're looking for and what's going to move your business forward. So like if you want people to sign up for your newsletter or so that would be a specific goal, 500 newsletter followers. Just, it's kind of like the SMART goals, right? It has to be specific. What's the next one? Measurable. So like if you
Attainable,
set,
realistic, and time sensitive.
yeah, time sensitive. Yeah. So, by this time, like over the first month of our partnership, I would like to have 500 subscribers. And how are we going to do that? And what am I
Okay.
giving you?
Okay. Okay, thanks. So like to build a membership almost. Yeah.
I can
Okay.
just add to that as well, Jenny, is like, I like people to go even further than like just followers, like, cause it's like
Mhm.
followers isn't sales. So it's like, actually, I'm gonna increase my sale, or engaged followers is awesome. That leads to this much in sales. Like sometimes we get stuck on vanity metrics, and I know that's not what you were suggesting, but just so everyone hears, the purpose of that is to lead to.
Specificity. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Yes, because all
Thank
followers
you.
are not created equal.
Oh,
Amen.
no.
Yeah. Okay, Jenny, we're going to
Thank
go
you.
to the next question. Thank you, Laura. Stephanie asks, in terms of working on the pitch itself, how do you go about describing the benefits that they will get from partnering with you? Great question.
I'm going to go ahead and suggest AI for an outline here, but I would just punch in like, I have this many subscribers. I'm really good at this. Can you, or just kind of list a few things and ask AI, like, can you create this into a pitch that sells my services? Because I'm not a writer, but I know what I like, right? So AI spits it out and I go, okay, that part's great. This is good. I'm going to tweak that, right? Because I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And if I can punch that in and it spits it out in a minute, good. But you have to make sure that you're tweaking it to your voice and what you actually provide, not some beefed up thing. Does that make sense? Or
Oh, no, for sure.
yeah,
No, for
okay.
sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to talk about yourself, right, ladies? But
Yeah, I think that's a good reason too, Jenny, that like if you have a business bestie, Stephanie, or someone like that's also to say, what do you see as the benefits of working with? Sometimes we're inside the jar and we can't read the label on the outside, right? Whereas someone be like, you know what, you are you have this and you have that, and we might not even think about those as assets. So Stephanie, where are you located? Do you mind if I ask? Is it in Toronto?
No problem. No, I'm in Ajax, Ontario. Don't need to lie to
Ajax.
people. So I'm
Okay.
45 minutes east of
Okay.
Toronto.
So, I mean, you might want to reach out to your small business center and book like a coaching call or something, even like I know there's a lot, or your local university. So I do this a lot for our weekend community. And so it's just to have just to bounce off. Yeah, to Jenny's point.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Jenny, there's another question. Hoda, we're going to go to you right after Stacy's and then Penny. Stacy asks, can you speak a bit about how you can identify and get sponsors? Love it. Right down to it.
Okay, so for me, it's kind of people who fall in line with what we're doing. So I hosted an event called Women of Wealth, and I reached out to a real estate agent, and I thought, what better to go with that than a mortgage agent. So I had them sponsor it because the Women of Wealth event was being taught on, buying real estate and investing as well, like a few other things. So actually they're here today. Gail and Carly were our sponsors for that event. And they just fell right in line with what we were doing. And I literally just was like, oh, I picked them. They're going to be my sponsors. They didn't really have a choice, but they said yes. So, just like what fits with what you're doing. And then the big corporations. So like the banks are always happy to support women in business. But it's a little rough right now because of what's going on. But I think if you have some contacts at the bank and you can ask somebody, what do I need to do to get that sponsorship? Or so we partnered with a local golf club who Blackberry Ridge golf course. And so they're trying to get more women into their women's golf program because they're known as a men's like PGA type space. So they partnered with, sponsored on Brazen because they want to get more women into their space. So we'll be doing a putt for Prosecco. That was my idea. But yeah, so you just, anything that kind of falls in line with what you're doing and okay, that company needs to get in front of these women or whoever your audience is, then you ask them because it's generally a pretty easy sell. And I don't usually, so we have a sponsorship guide. That's what I was going to touch on earlier. We have a sponsorship guide and it lays out, here's the cost, this is what you get, and we have this many followers, there will be this many people there, we can allow you to do such and such a thing. And then they say, okay, I see all the benefits here, I'm going to sign on for this much. Or if they want something higher.
Like I always ask me the question, like just like you did, Jenny, like who would like to be in the room with the people I am gathering? So for me, in my business outside of Queens, like I also work with women entrepreneurs, and I know the banks want to get in front of them, insurance companies, accountants want to get their lawyers, like professional services. That's the people that typically want to get in front of my audience. But then I love those like that example of the golf course. Like you just have to know what's going on and pay attention to what other people's needs are, not just your own. And that's where you can find the magic, I think. But
I got my finger in everything.
you do. Yeah, you have to walk through life like not sleepwalk. That's the thing. I literally will drive down the road. I'm like, oh, there's a sponsor for my next event, right? I'll see signs, right? And so you have to just kind of walk through life awake.
I look at people's cars because I have advertising on my car and I'm like, oh, where are they from? What do they do? You
Right?
know?
You gotta be awake. Okay, Hoda next, and then over to Penny.
Okay.
Thanks so much. This has been really, really helpful. So I'm from KRTS, which is Kingston Research and Training Services. So we're essentially a research consultancy. So we help businesses and leaders sort of make decisions that are grounded in data, and conduct research as well. And we're fairly new, so we're babies. We're just about 6 months from getting together as a group and deciding to co-found this consultancy. And so my mind is really on, so like who's a good partner? What kinds of people or organizations would really be helpful? And who can we also be helpful to? So I have 2 questions. So the first one is really like, again, where do I sort of look to see who would be a great partner, and how do we sort of distinguish between who might be a good partner or who might be competition, to say it sort of boldly, and if that's even the right way to think about it. And then number 2, I really like the list of like different forms of partnerships you can have. And so how do we go about finding out like which one is the best, or which like maybe 3 or to 5 or I guess give us the best return on our investment in time and other things. So maybe that's different for different people or different organizations, but yeah, those are my 2 questions. Thanks so much.
The first
so do you have,
where are you finding the magic people?
yeah, like do you have your target audience? Because like where are those people? I'm going to say maybe for you, market research obviously is the thing. So some larger companies that are maybe launching new products, they're going to need that market research to promote or know whether they're going to move forward with that product or service, anything like that. And so getting the most bang for your buck kind of thing is it's very different for each business. So something that you can do that doesn't take up much of your time or cost you much in return for something that you think is very, very valuable. So yeah, so for me, I hate to keep using the same examples, but like having Ashley on, I pay her a fee and it really cost me almost, a low amount, because her expertise is so important to me. So I don't put that much value on the amount. That doesn't sound right, but the amount that I'm paying her doesn't equal the expertise that she has. So I think this is so valuable to me. I'm getting the most out of this. You know what I mean? But to her, that payment is probably like, okay, that's standard income I'm getting every month. So that's a benefit to her. But for you, I'm not exactly sure what that would be. Like, what's easy for you to give and what is most important for you to get. And as far as the competition, I think if they're not doing exactly the same thing as you're doing, there's no competition. I think there's enough work for everyone, and everybody, even if you have the same business, you always do it in a different way, or you have something else that you bring to the table that's different. So, yeah, I don't see a lot of competition. Sorry.
Let's slide in with something also
Yeah.
with where do you find them? Like I find the directory, like for your local Chamber of Commerce, so Kingston Chamber of Commerce, there's a directory on their website. And you can literally go from A to Z, page through and see, like there are businesses you don't even know exist, first of all, or you've forgotten about. So I use that just as I could just like sit here in a bubble in my head and just like waste hours trying to come up with them. Or I just go down a directory list and I just like, oh, that might be a fit. And sometimes when I see something that sparks another, oh, I also know someone in that field. Let me write that down. So the directory for me, just going through that directory, and by the way, it has a link to their website. So you go to the website and you can immediately reach out to them. So that's one of my my quick
Yeah.
go-to.
Peterborough has that too. I think most of them have
Oh,
it.
yeah. All chamber directories are on there. And then there's usually other business directories that can be available in your own.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So like other business groups like Paro, I think they have a business directory as well. But yeah, have you gone through and specifically laid out who your target audience is and what like specific size and
So not size at this point. I think so our sort of goals are universities, businesses, researchers. We do have a contract with a researcher from McGill. And we're also learning about like the limits of working with universities as well. So that's been an interesting experience. So it's a very wide range, and I think that with experience we're sort of working to refine it. But because we do such a generalized service, like we could do research for really anyone from like small businesses to big businesses, to individual researchers as well who need a hand. It's a very wide audience. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go.
do you have like, if you had like, who would be your number one client? Like if you can figure out who that is, like if I could have only one client, this is who it would be. And then kind of structure it around, okay, well, if I can't get them, who's the person that's almost exactly like them, and go from there. I don't know enough about like the university and that space, so I can't specifically say any names, but yeah, you have to be they always say if you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. So you need to know specifically who your target demographic is.
Hoda, if you want to reach out to me, I don't know if you're a registered client, but we have like a direct pipeline to the university researchers at Queen's. So perhaps that's a helpful conversation.
That's amazing. I'm not a client, but I will be.
I
I'll
dropped
definitely sign
a
up.
link in there. I think Christina had her hand up and then we're gonna go to Karu. Oh, sorry, if I may, Christina, I'll let you go, and then Brittany had a question. I'll slide that one in before Karu.
Just quickly, just in regards to the conversation we're having, another thing you can think of, Hoda, is there's a lot of organizations within not-for-profit as well as governmental grant writing, people needing research and data to, they have a program that they want to do, they don't have the data to back it. That's an area that I would consider. It's a smaller niche, but there's many different grant writers out there that need people like you to help within that. So it's finding those grant writers.
Perfect. Do you mind if I reach out to you, Christina, to learn a little bit more about that? Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, everyone.
This is how the networking happens in the Zoom chat. I love it. Okay, Brittany had a question, Jenny, just before we go to Karu, and asked if you have a template for a sponsorship package.
I absolutely do. If you can just email me, I can send it out. If anybody wants that, you can do jennifer@simpledesk.ca or hello@brazenwomen.ca.
All right, perfect. Maybe you want to put those into the
Oh, I
Zoom.
can drop it. Yeah.
Karu, what's your question while she's doing that?
Hi, I have a lot of collaboration partners. I sell tea. I sell loose leaf tea, and so that I wanted to keep doing that. But for the future, my dream is to invite author. I have a Cha-Cha Tea Tea Shop Mystery Book Club by author Laura Child. And I have tea tasting session every month and also online as well. And my dream to invite her to join us eventually. But do we have to always pay her to
No.
pitch? No? Okay.
So a lot of our people who pitch or talk in our space, they do it at no charge just because they're getting eyes on them. So you could offer, like, what can you offer her besides monetary? Do you know what I mean? And you could ask and say, what would that look like if I had you come in? And she might say, okay, well, maybe I would accept, like, because people know what they're looking for, and it's not necessarily always money.
And
Yeah.
you haven't already emailed her? Like, she would be so impressed of, because Carrie, you've been doing this for a couple of years now, this book club, as far as I recall.
18th.
Okay, my gosh, you need to tell Laura, and she just needs to show up for you. You've already done, you've probably sold her books, you have like raised awareness of her brand. Oh my gosh, you just need to let her know what you're doing. And would you just like to come as a guest? You don't need to, my feeling is you do not need to pay her. You have been paying her in books for the last 2 years to get your book club people buying her books, and you are a brand ambassador for her, right?
You could tell her those things. Like, I love what you're doing. This is what I'm doing. I've sold like this many books of your books for you. We would really love to have you in here. Like, just lay it out there.
As an honored guest, I mean, what author? Our egos are just like, we would love to, who wouldn't want to show up to do that?
Yes, use the word honored. If somebody said that to me, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm coming.
Okay, I'll try. Yeah. We are on 18th this month, and then she has done, I think, almost 30 books. So when we catch up, yeah, we wanted to invite her. Okay, I'll try.
Feeling like
And
that's not enough. I would just say I would love to give you a box of my favorite tea that like goes with, like, you have tea, pay her in goods, right? And that you could send that to her depending where she is in the world. Yeah, my 10 cents is you don't need to pay her. You've already been a brand ambassador. She should be honored to come to this Zoom. Like, it could be on Zoom or it could be in person, right? So love that. Okay, our time is still pretty good. Just scanning. I think we had another question that I apologize if I've missed someone's. Nope, just a lot of chatter. Which is chatter is good. I love chatter.
Yeah,
Yes.
if anybody wants the template, just shoot me an email and I'll send that off to you.
Yeah, I don't see any questions at the moment. So we're gonna just put the final call out. If there's another question about creating strategic partnerships, which is so key. I in my business, sponsorship is a revenue stream for me. Like this, it is ongoing. It's not just like a one time. We partner with Scotiabank Women Initiative. They are our lead sponsor, and they sponsor us year round. So it's a really, I want us to think as partnerships as a revenue stream, right? And of course, there are different forms partnerships, as Jenny has laid out today. Seeing no further questions, Jenny, I do want to thank you on behalf of all of us for the fantastic discussion that you have stimulated, as well as I want to thank everyone on the call, because this was 90 minutes from your day that I hope you will now go turn into all sorts of great outcome and impact because you spent some time with us today. Thank you so much. If you're not aware of what's coming up next, Stacy, who I think is on the call, I believe her workshop is next on February 13th, Tiny Habits for Big Success. I cannot wait. If you're not on our email list as well, just shoot me an email. You have, you know, because I sent you the Zoom link. Say, hey, Carrie, I want to be on that email list so I can find out what free workshops are coming up. You'll get to meet more incredible women like Jenny and the others on the call. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.